In this video, we're going to be looking at the quadratic formula. Our objectives: understand the process of using the quadratic formula to find roots. Understand how the discriminant determines the number of roots. Our vocabulary is quadratic formula that uses general form, so we can use y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We don't have to change it any. We can use it the way it is to find the roots. We're going to use that exactly. The discriminant, part of quadratic formula inside the square root that determines whether there are 0, 1, or 2 roots. So I've got some pictures here. Notice how this quadratic has 2 roots, crosses the x in 2 spots. This one touches the x at the vertex, so it's got 1, and this one never crosses, so it has 0. So the first thing is the quadratic formula, which is xr, meaning it's going to be the x value of the roots. So we're going to get xr, comma 0. And there could be upwards of 2 of these. We've got negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Right now I'm going to show you how to use it. In class I'll show you where this comes from. Inside the square root, b squared minus 4ac is right here. That's known as the discriminant. The discriminant's important because if this ends up being a positive number, that means there's 2 roots. So like positive 5, there's 2 roots. If this ends up being 0, there's 1 root, and that root ends up being the vertex. And this is it. If this is a negative number, that means there are 0 roots. That would be a graph that never crosses the x-axis. The last thing up here is x of v equals negative b over 2a. That's from this, negative b divided by 2a. That's the x value of the vertex. Basically, we can figure out the x of the vertex using that quick math problem. Then we can take this and put it into our general form to find the y of the vertex. It takes a little bit of work, but it finds us the vertex. Now we're going to just practice using the quadratic formula. When I use the quadratic formula, I usually split it into 2 problems. One using the plus sign, one using the minus sign. That way I don't mess up. What I have here is a general form. First thing you should always do is identify your a, b, and your c. So if I put a number in front of the x, we have an a of negative 1. A b is 6, but it's got a minus sign, so that's negative 6. And a c, 12 with a plus sign, makes it a positive 12. Now all we do is we put these letters into our formula. So I'm going to do one in red and one in blue, one for the plus and one for the minus, and we should get upwards of 2 answers. So negative b, so negative 6, negative 6 would be positive 6 plus the square root of negative 6 is squared, because it's negative we need it in parentheses, minus 4 times negative 1 times 12 all over 2 times negative 1. Then I'm going to write the exact same problem, but instead of a plus sign I'm going to use a minus sign. Now, inside here is the discriminant. This is important. It's going to tell us how many answers there are. Do I need to do both problems or just one? Or neither? So, negative 6 squared is 36, minus 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, times 12. Negative 4 times 12 is negative 48. Still got a minus sign, 36. Minusing a negative is really adding. So I have 36 plus 48, which is 84. Okay, so there's my discriminant. It's positive. There are two answers. So I set up my problems. 6 plus the square root of 84 over, and we want to do that multiplication, negative 2. And over here, we have 6 minus the square root of 84 over negative 2. Well, 84 doesn't come out perfect, so we're going to need to round it at this point. So I'm going to square root 84 with my calculator. And it is 9.16. We're going to round it just to 9.2. So we're going to go 6 plus 9.2 over negative 2. 6 minus 9.2 over negative 2. And now we just do the math. So that's going to be 15.2 divided by negative 2. So 15.2 divided by negative 2 is negative 7.6. So our root is negative 7.60. There's our first root. And our second root, we're going to get 6 minus 9. 6 minus 9.2 gives us negative 3.2 over negative 2 gives us 1.6 comma 0 for our other root. So there are two roots. Alright, let's try this one more time. Okay, I'm going to try and go through this a little bit faster. Negative b, so we've got negative 5. We're just going to add there, over here. We're going to subtract. Do the discriminant once, so that's going to be 25 minus 4 times 4 times 1. 25 minus 16 times 1. So 16 times 1 is just 16. I'm just going to erase that. So that's going to be 9. So we've got negative 5 plus the square root of 9 over 8. And negative 5 minus the square root of 9 over 8. Just did 2 times 4 to make it a little bit quicker. So from here, square root of 9 is just 3. So this is going to give us negative 2 over 8, which equals negative 1/4. I'm going to leave it as a fraction, comma 0. There's our root. And our other root would be negative 5 minus 3 over 8 goes to negative 8 over 8, which is negative 1, 0. Alright, hopefully you understood the process of using the quadratic formula. If there's any part that you missed or you need to see again, make sure you pause, rewind, and rewatch, and bring any questions to class. I know this is a hard process, so please bring those questions so we can clear them up. Thank you.